What was the fallout like? The bottom fell out of my world. I immediately went into hiding to avoid the press and spent the next month living in hotels. That sounds great, but I'm sure it wasn't. My friends dropped everything to be there for me and took it in turns to stay with me. I could hardly eat, and every day was spent in a daze going between crying at what my life had become and laughing at the ridiculous situation. After a while, anger set in, and I just wanted to tell the world what really happened, but I knew that if I did, I would just be bolstering him, and he was already standing on my shoulders to try and reach for fame. I felt reassured by Channel 4 that if I stayed quiet, he would soon run out of things to say about me and disappear. But each time I thought it was over, he would do another interview, and each one was more vile than the last. Eventually, I went back home, as I had to face it sometime, but the pain didn't stop. Every time someone sent me a link or a picture, I would panic, thinking that it was going to be a link to an interview with him. Eventually, one night, after he had released something, I just couldn't cope anymore. I knew that he would just never stop, and there was only one way to silence it. For me to not be here anymore. If he wouldn't stop, then I would. Sorry. At that moment, one of my friends called, and well, I'm here now, so I think you know how that conversation went. I honestly wouldn't have minded if Ben broke up with me, rather than cheating on me and lying about it. I also have no bad feeling towards him for wanting to be famous, but I can't see why he had to step all over me to do it. If he has such star quality, he should have been able to just say, we broke up, but I'm not going into detail, and move on to do something else. Hearing that your husband, who tells you every day how amazing you are and how lucky he is to have found you, telling the papers that he spent the past few months secretly thinking that you're a chore, and every time he sees you he wants to run away, it's just so cruel. I don't care how we met or how long we've been together, no one would be able to stomach hearing that being said about them by a partner in the press. He couldn't even spell my name right in the article. I want to respond to a few points that Ben raised about me. Ben said that he was upset by me calling me husband. 1, he was my husband, and 2, he called me wifey. He says that after we moved out of the flat, we rarely saw each other, but we saw each other around twice a week, usually had a date night uptown and a cosy evening in staying over his. He also said that we were sleeping in separate beds. This happened only once, and it was because it was the night he had his operation, so I opted to sleep in another bed so that I didn't knock his hand in my sleep. He states that he'd said to me, it's not working, I don't think it ever will. It ain't there, kiddo. This conversation never happened. And if he had said, it ain't there, kiddo, to me, I probably would have laughed in his face. He said that I struggled to accept we were over, and I have struggled, but not with our relationship being over. He was exhausting to be with. My struggle has been the backlash of the things that he said about me in the press. I even had someone who recognised me shouting, let him go, just move on. On the 3rd of April, he stated in Bella magazine that he'd been begging me for divorce for around 2 months. If that were the case, why had he sat next to me on the sofa of this morning telling the world how amazing I was? Like, after that 2-month period. He had also just previously told Closer magazine, which is owned by Bauer Media, the same company who owns Bella, that having me was like going to sleep after a stormy night and waking up to warm sunshine. He told Bella that he had had a fling with young Lucy, which in recent articles he is now trying to dumb down to just a snog, but that it happened after we split. Yet Lucy has photos of them together with Christmas decorations in the background. He claims he never cheated on me in one article. Then in another, he says that he admitted to cheating, so can't see why I wouldn't just agree to divorce. Then it's back to he didn't cheat and can't work out why he's being painted as the bad guy. And now he says on Big Brother that he cheated as soon as we were back from honeymoon. This is before we had even slept together. Finally, he says that maybe in a couple of years we'd meet naturally in a pub and come back together. You never know. Well, I know, and that would definitely not happen. We are currently still married. I can't actually file for divorce yet, but we agreed to meet early so the lawyers could get all the paperwork agreed in advance so we wouldn't have to see each other again. We were supposed to sit together in a round table meeting to sign, but when my lawyer went to go and get him to sign his part, he signed it and immediately walked out. So he never even faced me. I wasn't hoping for an apology or anything, just to be able to look him in the eye and sign the paperwork.